Welcome to Night Sky Notebook for January 2023. My name is Peter Detterlein, and let's take a look at all the great things that are happening when you look up. We begin with our moon phases for the new year, and we're going to be starting off with a full moon on January 7th. New moon occurs around the 22nd. On January 3rd, look out to find beautiful Orion the Hunter and Taurus the Bull low over in the eastern part of the sky right after sunset. I want you to focus on Taurus. You'll be able to see the moon and brilliant Mars sitting right there. If you draw a line from the moon through Mars and over to the Pleiades, you'll be able to see some of the real treasures that are in this group. Also take a look at the bright star Aldebaran, a red giant star, rather orange in color. Now if you have a pair of binoculars, take a look at Aldebaran and then Mars, and go back and forth and see if they're about the same color, or is Mars more red than orange. We begin the month with the moon and Mars in Taurus. We're going to end the month the same way. Let's see what happens when the moon comes back around at month's end. On January 4th, the Earth will be the closest it will be to the Sun for the entire year, a little less than 91.5 million miles away. Our distance to the Sun has nothing to do with the seasons. We are closest to the Sun in January and farthest away in July. Our fancy name for this? Perihelion. The quadrantid meteor showers. Love this one. It's a one night only type of event. And you want to go out on January 3rd to watch it in the morning of January the 4th. The moon's going to be a little bit of a problem this year. It's going to be dominating that morning sky. So if you're going to go out to look for the meteors, sit down at Chaise Lounge and make sure you have your back toward the moon. You can see quite a few of these meteors on a dark, clear night. Let's see how many we see when the moon's up in the sky. Not much is going to be happening mid-January, but as we get into the latter part of the month, Venus and Saturn are going to be right next to each other. You want to look for them low over in the southwest, and low is the thing. You have to get out there about 5:30 p.m. A pair of binoculars would really make this optimum for viewing, because it's going to be tough. Venus will be the brighter, so spot that first. Saturn will be right next to it, probably about the 2 o'clock position, if you're looking at it as a clock. Binoculars, again, is really going to show this up well, but see if you can see it with your eye. It may be tough because it's still going to be fairly bright outside. You are looking at the closest planet to us, Venus, and the brightest, and the farthest planet and the faintest planet then, Saturn. That's viewing with the unaided eye. They'll only be about a ½ degree apart. Now if you hold your arm all the way out and take a look at your little pinky finger, that's about half the width of your pinky finger. And that's pretty spectacular. So definitely check that out. That's your challenge observation for the month. On the 25th, the moon catches up to Jupiter. This is going to be pretty. Jupiter's been dominating all last fall and going into the winter now, and it's starting to get over toward the western part of the sky after sunset. So we're looking around 6:30 p.m. You're going to see a beautiful crescent moon, and just above it, the king of the planets, Jupiter. On the 28th, we have a pretty neat lineup. I want to get a wider view of everything that's happening. You'll notice that we're starting around 5:45 p.m. Venus and Saturn are still very, very low over in the southwest. It's going to be fairly bright out. And again, Saturn is going to be the difficult one to see out of this group. So use a pair of binoculars for that. Venus will be low, need a low horizon, but it'll be brilliant. Jupiter, of course, is bright. And then the red planet Mars is also bright. Halfway between Mars and Jupiter is the moon. Now, if you take your finger and you draw a line from Saturn to Venus to Jupiter to the moon to Mars, Mars, moon, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, go back and forth, make that line across the sky. You're looking at the path of the sun, we call the ecliptic. The planets and the moon have to stay very close to that path. So that's where you're going to find planets along that path. And as promised, at the end of the month, January 30, Mars and the moon meet up again in Taurus. This time the moon is a little bit smaller. It's just a day past first quarter. And now moon is between Mars and the Pleiades. Not in a straight line like they were at the beginning of the month. It'll be offset a little bit. But it'll be a beautiful sight to see. A great way to start the month, a great way to end it. Well, that's it for January 2023. I hope you get a chance to go outside and take a look at some of these wonders. If you want to take a look at all the latest things that are happening, feel free to check out my Night Sky Notebook at blogspot.com. Until next month, keep looking up.